hands and her ass just wiggles in front of me. So I'm like, I don't want to just completely just stare at her and fuck up my focus for the day because it is about my daughter. But it just threw me off. And then I got my baby mother over here screaming and yelling, just waiting for me with all this mess. I'm like, this
Okay,
isn't
Honorable
some
Deacon,
script for today, is it?
you're fading in and out a little bit, but let me understand this. The woman in front of you had ass,
She was
but
shaped like an hourglass, dude.
you didn't say anything about her face.
Pretty, I want to say that she was Asian, actually.
Mm, which is right up your alley.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So you did not
But
hmm?
no, it was like I said, it was more or less for my daughter. So I was taking videos and taking pictures, but yeah, it was kind of distracting. I'll put it that way. Yeah. And I noticed that she wasn't wearing underwear and she had on the yoga pants. And
Who?
I was like, okay,
Who wasn't wearing underwear?
the lady in front of me. It's a thing that you notice. As her ass is wiggling in front of you. But nonetheless, the drama was there, so it kind of threw everything off anyway. So let us go on to other subjects.
You don't want to talk about the ass in front of you anymore?
No, no, I'm good. I'll see her at some point again in life if it's destiny.
But why wait on destiny? Why not take things into your own hands?
I was with my hysterical ass daughter's mother. What part of that do you understand?
But were you all sitting next to each other?
Yes, we were.
Oh.
There was
uh,
no choice in that particular, part of it.
had to be
Had she
supportive.
come with her boyfriend or something like that, then it would have been different. But she didn't, and so I had to oblige her a little bit, gritting my teeth the whole time.
Mm. Okay. All right. So let's acknowledge a few people in the chat room, and
Oh,
then
did Kimbo Slice die?
what about it?
Kimbo Slice, Kimbo
Yeah.
Slice did die, right?
Yes. So you just start off with Kimbo Slice instead of Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali did die also, as well. Kimbo Slice died like a few days ago. Muhammad Ali died like what, the beginning of the week, last week,
Yeah.
something like the middle of the week, something like that.
Yeah. So anything you want to say about either one of them, both of them?
They were the greatest at what they did, and I do. They humble you, especially Muhammad Ali. He does humble you as a person because he was a thrasher in his profession, but he was humanitarian also. So he could beat your ass and then give you a lecture. Basically, that's how that went. He had some humbling effects to him as far as the studies of Islam. I don't think that he fully grasped everything about it, but he was extremely a stand-up person as far as not going to the military, things of that nature.
So
Kimbo was a brutal person, though.
okay? Let's stay on Muhammad right now. So you say he was a
Uh,
stand-up person because he did not go to the military. You're going to catch some slack from some people because some people say, how do you respond to the people that say he was a draft dodger?
Everybody has their own theory on that. I can't be mad if a person is mad about something else, but the thing is, he didn't want to go, and so it's just right to say, no, I don't want to go. Regardless of what any government can tell you, if you don't want to go somewhere, well, damn, you don't have to. I
As a
imagine
human
there were a lot
being,
of well-to-do people that were saying they didn't want to go, and somehow somebody found a way for them not to go, and nobody
mhm,
said shit about them.
yeah. And as a human being, shouldn't we have the right to control our own destiny as beings? And not just human beings, but as beings in the universe. So,
Right?
yeah.
Why sit yourself into the middle of chaos knowing that people are going to be shooting at you? You know what I mean?
What about the freedoms, preservations of freedoms that we have here?
And what about them? Shit, they beat our ass every day. That's
Yeah,
they're free to beat our ass, I guess. So it's
yeah. Okay, and Kimbo,
Brutal
Kimbo.
guy. I love his ability to just thrash people. In fact, I think his son is boxing also. The same type of boxing, mixed martial arts, something like that.
Okay.
In fact, a friend of mine was training with Kimbo some years back in Southeast Asia for a moment, maybe a couple of weeks or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty cool.
Well,
he's a cool dude.
Interesting that two combatants passed within a week of one another. I thought that was interesting also. So, it is, when we talk about the greatness of men,
mm-hmm.
to a great extent, there's always been a struggle between man and the environment, man and nature, to see which was greatest. And ultimately, it is civilization or nature that shapes what man is. If we have a drought, it'll kill us. We need water. If we live near a source of water, our settlement could thrive. So ultimately, at some point, it seems that man has to bow down to greatness, but in the place where circumstance and a man who is conscious of his abilities and prepared to meet those circumstances, when those things merge, we have the opportunity for a great being, a hero, to rise up. And I guess that's what happened in the situation of Muhammad Ali. Circumstance met an individual who was prepared and capable. So that's what I will say to that. Busta says that he was in the army for 29 years and didn't have a problem with Ali, but the objectors who were in the military getting a monthly paycheck, and when the war started, they all wanted to get out. He had a problem with that. So I
can understand that.
I certainly agree with that. Exactly. So you have those that
basically is do your fucking job. That's what it basically boils down to with that.
You know what you signed up for. Don't just take the good. You got to take the I don't want to say bad, but you got to realize the risk too.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for your service, Buster. Okay, on that note, let's recognize those who are in the chat. We have Kesey out of Atlanta, Kicking It with Kesey show. Cowpote is out of Minnesota. You can follow him and follow his show. Ronnie is joining us from Sheboygan. Denise is joining us from Selma. Sluggo and Grego are joining us. Shout out to X Squad and X Squad affiliates. Sosa is joining us. Sosa's in Sheboygan as well. So we certainly thank you all for joining us in the chat room. Everyone who is listening on Spreaker.com and on SME, please hit that heart that you see on the website, liking the show, and feel free to share the show with your friends. And with that, if you are ready, Honorable Deacon, we will get into
Bring your mouth.
The first topic. The first topic comes from our friend Tiffany out of the ATL. And she asks, how do you tell your husband that you want to separate? How do you tell your husband that you want to separate?
Decency says that you just be forthright with a person. That's the best way to do it.
Kind of makes me wonder, is there some fear here? Is she afraid to tell him?
Is he a violent person? Does she already have somebody else that she's dealing with? Is it financial? Is it sexual? A lot of different variables that can go into it.
Mm-hmm.
And so who was that saying that if it's a sexual thing, they would just buy a bunch of toys and deal with it that way. But anyway, it's like I said, it's best just to be forthright with a person.
My mentor told me today, not me. He didn't tell me. He didn't tell me, but let me correct that before boss lady's like, what's going on? What's the problem? But my mentor said today, he talked about how people settle in the world. And he said, you don't lower your goals. You don't lower your expectations. And then he said, for example, if people don't make enough money, they put it on a credit card. Then he said, if people don't get the girl that they want, what do? They watch porn. I believe he wanted to stick that in there and say they watch porn. So he thinks that it's all a part of settling. So let me see if I can get her to call in, or at least text in or message in to see if she wants to expand on any of this. So the questions we have for her now are, help me out, Honorable Deacon. Is there someone else? Is it sexual? What were some of those?
Is it financial?
Is it financial? I do know
is
that
it
she
physical, a physical altercation that she's scared of running into.
Mm-hmm. So, because when the question or the topic was originally posed, I expected you to just come out and say, just tell him. Come out and tell him. And in fact, that's what Sosa's saying. Sosa's saying, tell him. At some point, you have to be honest, You can't drag things out.
Mm-hmm.
Ronnie says, just tell him. If you don't want to be with him, why are you worried about his feelings?
All right. If you don't want to be with him anyway, shit.
Mm-hmm. Good evening, Spicy. Spicy from Spicy Conversations has joined us. Her show will follow us. She says that there is no one else and she's not afraid of him. So, tell us more. Tell us, as the show progresses, if there are things that you want us to elaborate on or specific questions you have, feel free to let us know. And if you want to call in, you're certainly welcome to call in. That's my message to her. But I think, let me throw a little bit at this. You have to be conscious of what's going to happen next. What's going to happen next? Where are you going to go? Where is he going to go? As I said earlier, you need to tell the person. You don't want to drag things out, drag out feelings, play around with that. But you certainly need to think about who's going to go where. Do you have a nest egg? Are you financially prepared to handle things on your own or make that move on your own? And if there are children involved, how is it going to impact the children? Are the children prepared? Are you going to get therapy for the children? Honorable Deacon, do you subscribe to therapy for children in such situations, or do you say
no?
Fuck it.
You should be the parents should be able to talk, depending on the age of the kid, of the child. You should be able to really just explain to them in a language that they'll understand. I mean, I started with my child when she was like about 3 or 4, and I was like, "Look, man, your mom ain't gonna make it. Shit. It's just not gonna happen." So, we have to figure out other ways that we can still talk to each other and still be cool with each other. But you should be able to talk to kids. I mean, like a lady told me a while ago, they're just small adults. They're small humans. You'll be able to talk to them. They'll be able to figure it out if you say the right words to them. You can't use the quote unquote big words, but you can say that they'll understand it. I've even had to tell children that their stepfather was their real father at one point. So, and they took it pretty well. Indeed. It's just that understanding that you have to have,
KCK out of Milwaukee says, Lord, it went like this. This is her. I've got nothing left. This is him. What do you mean? She said, I'm emotionally and mentally